Welcome to the Tellabs installation series video on the ONT 248. The purpose of this video is to describe the Tellabs ONT 248 optical network terminal, its features, status indicators, and installation at the customer premises. The topics covered in this video will be an overview of the ONT 248, a description of the installation considerations, a description of the interfaces and LED indicators, and a summary of the provisioning options. The ONT 248 is a rack-mountable 1RU unit in the Tellabs FlexSim series of equipment. This ONT offers 48 ports of 1 gig Ethernet connectivity with power over Ethernet. The ONT 248 is an XGS-PON ONT that provides for 10 gig downstream and 10 gigs upstream PON transmission. It offers economical one-to-one closet-based switch replacement that reuses the last 100 meg cadex cables in the horizontal walls and drop while bringing all the security and management capabilities of PON. The ONT 248 is rack-mounted in a standard 19-inch equipment rack. On the back of the ONT are spaces for 2 load-sharing power supply units. Power units and power cords are sold separately. Maximum redundancy and survivability is achieved by equipping both units and supplying AC power from 2 different circuits on different circuit breakers. Both 715 watt and 1100 watt power supplies are available to support different PoE power loads. The power supplies each have 2 LEDs, an input OK and an output OK LED. Both should be green when power is applied to each unit. Before powering up the system, make sure the safety ground lug is connected to a proper building ground to provide protection from shock hazards. The ONT 248 ships with an ONT fan tray installed on the rear of the unit. The fans are redundant, and each pair of fans has its own fail LED to indicate when failure has occurred. When the fans are operating normally, the fan LEDs will both be green. There are 2 thumb screws which can be used to remove the fan unit and replace it in the event of a failure. The front of the ONT 248 has 48 gigabit Ethernet ports supporting power over Ethernet devices. These are standard RJ45 Ethernet jack ports. The PON connector is a standard optical ONT connector to the OLT. It is a standard SC APC type connector for single mode fiber. A small reset button can be utilized to reset the ONT. When the unit is powered up, there are several LEDs that indicate the status of the ONT. A power LED shows green when the input power is good. This LED turns amber when a secondary power supply has been removed or has failed. An alarm LED shows the current alarm status of the ONT. And a PON LED shows the status of the PON interface. This LED shows solid green during normal operations when the ONT has been registered in the system. When the ONT is not registered but has been discovered, this LED will blink green. During a software download to the ONT, this LED will slow blink. Each port has an amber PoE LED to indicate the status of the PoE for the port. This LED will blink every 10 seconds while searching for a PD and will go solid once the PD has been established. Also, each port has LEDs that display the Ethernet link and activity status for the port. This LED will blink green when the data link is up and traffic is detected. The ONT 248 is provisioned into the system the same as other ONTs. The ONT requires an XGS-PON interface. Because the ONT 248 has dual power supplies, it may be helpful to adjust the PoE power threshold for notification. This can be done directly in the ONT's properties after installation or can be adjusted in the ONT template before installation. In the power settings, make sure that the external power supply is set to a wattage equal to one of the redundant power supplies. In this way, adequate PoE power can be maintained, even in the event of a rectifier failure. This concludes this video. In it, we have discussed an overview of the ONT 248, a description of installation considerations, a description of the interfaces and LED indicators, and a summary of the provisioning options.